Welcome to ServiceNow Skill Sculpt. In this video, I have recreated our Knowledge 25 session, RPA powered data science, effortless data cleaning, and beyond. As part of our MSIT program at Clark University, I had the opportunity to study data visualization and storytelling. This course deepened my understanding of data science and the structured process it flows to solve real world business challenges. The data science process includes gathering data from multiple sources and formats, cleaning the data, analyzing it, and transforming insight into visual stories that drive smarter business decisions and practical solutions. While studying, I became particularly interested in the data cleaning process, which involves many repetitive yet critical steps. It requires handling missing values, removing duplicates, correcting inconsistent formatting, and standardizing inconsistent entries. Skipping proper data cleanup can lead into inaccurate insights and misleading conclusions. That's why it's essential to apply data cleaning techniques before performing any meaningful analysis on the dataset. There is an 80-20 rule in the data science. Professionals often spend 80% of their time on data preparation and cleaning and only 20% on actual analysis. This lead me to explore how RPA could be applied to streamline and automate the repetitive cleanup tasks. Let's break down and understand ServiceNow's RPA through three simple and logical steps. RPA Desktop Design Studio. This is where we can create the automation workflow. It defines the robot task using components and logics. Once tested, the workflow is published as a package. RPA Hub. This is central console allow us to define RPA process by assigning packages to robots. It also manages credentials, schedules, resources, and queues. The robot. This is a software agent installed on desktop or virtual machine that execute the automated task defined in the workflow. Now, let's walk through a demo showcasing how ServiceNow RPA is used to clean a patient visit dataset.
Hello everyone, I'm Aditya and I'm going to be demoing our project. Let's get started. This is the RPA Hub. Here we can see all of our deploy projects under the packages section right here. We will focus on our RPA data cleanup package. Here we can see the package version and the bot processes. Inside the package version, we can find a zip file containing our bot. And in the bot processes, we can see the processes of the bot, which include the business applications, the process credential mapping, the assigned robots, process robot credentials, and the schedule. The schedule is a really important part of this as it tells us when the bot is going to trigger and when it should stop. This is the RPA workflow that we're going to be looking at. Before I explain how this works, let me show you the dataset that we're working with. This is the dataset that we're going to be clearing. The spreadsheet itself is called patient visit dataset, and inside this, we're going to be looking at the patient data sheet. Right off the bat, we can tell that there's many issues with this. There are a bunch of empty columns, there's a bunch of empty rows. The insurance data isn't standardized, so there's a bunch of different values indicating the same thing. And there's a bunch of patient names that are just missing. In the same spreadsheet, we have the clean data sheet and then the deduplicated sheet, which we'll come back to later, as here is where our cleaned and filtered data will be written into. Now, let's go to the RPA workflow. Now that we're here, let me explain how this works. We use the Microsoft Excel connector to connect our bot to the Excel file. Using the open method and the file's path on the local PC, we select the Excel file that we need modified. Next, we use the read from sheet method to essentially select the data sheet inside the Excel file that we need modified. So in our case, the patient data. After that, we run the delete empty columns and the delete empty rows method on the sheet so that we can delete empty columns and delete empty rows. Okay. We'll make sure to save the file and close it, as later in the workflow we're going to be using a different component to edit the same Excel. Up until this point, we only use the Microsoft Excel connector to communicate between our bot and the Excel sheet. But after halfway through, we use the data reader and the data writer to start running SQL queries on our Excel sheet. The first data reader component here essentially runs a SQL query that standardizes the insurance data. So if it was a single letter answer, like a Y or an N, it would be converted into a yes or a no. So every single value in it is a yes or a no. This SQL query also, if it sees that a row doesn't have a patient name, will completely trim it, aka delete it. So this modified sheet, after the SQL query is run, will be written into the clean data sheet that we had created earlier. The second data reader component also runs an SQL query, except it runs a deduplication algorithm to deduplicate our data set and then write it onto the deduplicated section of our sheet. Let me show you how this looks. Yep, it just completed running. Let me open the file to show you the completed. Okay. Here we can see the clean data. No more empty columns, no more empty rows, no more duplicated items, and standardized values. Perfect. The deduplicated section. Here our dataset has been deduplicated and it looks good. This concludes our quick rundown of our project. I will hand it back over to my mom to continue the presentation. Thank you.
In this demo, we identified 4 key issues in the dataset: empty rows and columns, missing patient names, inconsistent yes or no values in the insurance column, duplicate entries. Using ServiceNow RPA workflow, we cleaned the data and saved the result in the cleaned dataset and deduplicated records in the other dataset. It's on sheet actually. Let's jump into beyond part. So far, we have applied RPA for data cleaning, but we asked ourselves, what if we go a step further? What if we not only clean the data, but also analyze it and deliver meaningful insight to the business? And here is the exciting part. We are now on the Yokohama release, which brings in Now Assist support directly with the RPA Design Studio. That means it's now possible to design intelligent automations that don't just act. They think, guide, and enhance outcomes. Now, we have reached the conclusion. Friends, if after listening this session you find yourself thinking, yes, we can apply RPA in this scenario in our organization, or brainstorming the use cases, then that would truly mark the success of this session. Thank you for watching our recreated session. If you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate your support and would love to hear your constructive feedback in the comments. Thank you once again.